Right. So
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes, sir.
Frank McComb, I want you to basically feel comfortable. I'm giving you your flowers. I met you
Uh,
in a different setting, so this is a new setting for you and I,
oh
having this
yeah.
conversation.
Oh
So
yeah.
please share with my audience the Frank McComb story. Where are you from? What was your childhood like?
Oh, see, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a 70s kid, 1970. Um, Childhood was it was cool. I mean, when it came down to the music, it was always great, But we always gonna have our childhood issues that we have to
Right.
get over as adults. Um, uh, I started actually I came from a family of musicians and singers. Like two of my aunts are piano players, but I've got well, let me see, my grandmother had seven kids, one boy, six girls. Five of those girls sang. So
Oh, okay.
and two of them played piano. So my mother, my aunts, I grew up watching them, stand around the piano for Christmas, all the holidays, and sing, and and grew up in church, Little Holiness Church, watching them, be in the choir and the whole nine. And so I'm the only one of the four of us, my brother, my two sisters, that decided to play music. I watched my
Okay.
aunt Evelina. I watched Evelina, my aunt.
Okay.
Um, I watched her write a blues tune after church one day, and I thought it was the coolest thing. So I'm like, Lena, I want you to teach me how to play. I'm every bit of 12. And we get to my mother's house, and she puts this keyboard on my mother's dining room table and starts giving me the basics,
Oh,
just basic major minor chords. Um, Taught me the names of the keys, the purpose of the sustain pedal, the basics. She worked with me for 1 hour for 3 Sundays. So it's 3 hours piano training is all I got. So the
wow.
rest, the rest I picked up from listening to all of my mama's records and scratching them up. Herbie Hancock and Patrice Rushen and George Duke and all these people. And I started buying my own records then when I was able to. It was place Cleveland. Actually, I think it was Mayfield Heights called the Record Exchange. I used to
Okay.
go up there and get records for like $2, $3. The same records cost $40 today.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
So,
um, so I just, uh, I actually practiced on my sister's toy piano. My sister Eunice, she had a toy piano. Why did they buy her the piano when I was the one playing? I don't get
wow.
it.
Wow.
But I took her toy piano up to the attic where I used to sleep because my brother, my cousin, and I used to stay in the attic all the time. So I went
Mhm.
up there and I took that Tinker Toy keyboard up there and I had a little record player, the speakers that was connected to the record player.
Right. Like the
Yeah,
Casio. Yeah.
one of those. And I played all my records, and I would just sit there and just listen to everything and just try to get everything I could get. The first tune that I really learned to play to the best of my ability, first R&B tune, was a song by Stevie Wonder called "Bird of Beauty" from the Fulfilling His Personality album. And then
Okay.
there was my first jazz tune that I really tried my best to learn was "Chameleon" by Herbie Hancock,
Oh yeah.
from the
Yeah.
Headhunters record. So I started playing in the bars. Well, I started playing at 12, and I started playing in the bars at 15.
Okay.
And I had gotten my hands on a Fender Rhodes,
Ah, yeah.
and that's my main axe because I grew up listening to everybody playing it, So
Right.
I
Right.
love Fender Rhodes. Um, so there was a guy who was working on my mother's roof, the roof of our building,
Okay.
and he heard me practicing to a tune called "The Hump" by Patrice Rushen. It's from the album "Shout It Out" back in '77.
Okay.
And I'm like every bit of 12, 15, I'm sorry, practicing this tune, and I'm learning all of her keyboard licks, and I learned her solos and stuff. And this guy's name was Dallas Hutchins. I never forget. Dallas came to my bedroom and said, "Hey, is that you in there playing? That you?" I was like, "Yeah, it's me." He said, "Man, don't tell your mom, but you ought to come out to the bars with us and play. I'll look out for you." And, you're a kid in the hood of Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, when you're a kid, a kid in the hood of Cleveland, Ohio, you pretty much raising yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're pretty much raising yourself. So I was like, yeah. so, so, so I'm sneaking out the back door with a Fender Rhodes stage Mark One stage piano. I'm carrying it down the steps and down this long walkway down the side of my building.
Mm-hmm.
My mama's bedroom was in the front. My bedroom was in the back.
Right.
I'm carrying this piano. And Dallas picks me up and I throw it in. I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. He gets me out real fast, right? Go play my gigs, and I slip back in the house. And my mom had no idea. I think she caught on later. I'm a
Right.
parent. I'm a parent, so I'm a parent of 30 years. I'm sure she caught on.
Right. Right.
So she just never said nothing. But like I said, when you coming up in the hood of Cleveland, Ohio, in the time we came up, you pretty much raised yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
the old guys, they appreciated me because I knew how to take care of myself, carry myself in those bars at such a young age. I'm 17, start my first trio at 17. I start piano at 12, start
Okay.
playing the club in the bars at 15, 17, start my first trio. And then at 20, 19, that's when I became the musical director for a group called the Rude Boys out of Cleveland,
Oh
Ohio.
yeah. Rude
Yeah,
boy.
they had that hit song called Written All Over
Written
Your
all over
Face.
your face. Yep.
Yeah, so they had just signed Atlantic, thanks to Gerald Levert. Um, and then I ended up, being an MD. I wasn't originally the MD though. The first
Okay.
MD, we before we even got on the road, there was a guy named Cliff Colson. May he rest in peace.
Okay.
Cliff is bass player, and he ended up getting called. Well, I mean, we were in the heat of rehearsals, and he gets called to go out with the Winans. So
Oh.
he goes on tour with the Winans, and they're like, "Get Frank the gig. We want Frank to do it." I'm like, "Well, it's my first turn getting it. No, we want you to do it. We want you to." Cool. So no problem. I jump in,
Mhm.
and we go on the road. Rude Boys, Liberty OJs, and we were killing every night, man. We went from 45 minutes to 30 minutes to 15 minutes.
Why they reduce the show?
I guess because we were pretty good. I mean, we had just enough time to go on stage and say, "Written all over your face."
Right.
Good night. Good night.
Right. Right.
We
Well, yeah,
ride.
that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it is what it is, right? And so, but at the end of the day, we held our own.
Okay.
So on that tour, I met some friends on that tour that
Okay.
talked me into moving to Philly, and it was two brothers, Mark and Sherman Byers, and then there was Jazzy Jeff.
Okay.
I met all these people, and they were like, "You ought to move to Philly. You ought to move to Philly." So when that tour was done, I packed up my things, and I never lived any place on my own in Cleveland. I left Cleveland at the age of 21. When I left my mom's house, I left
Mhm.
Cleveland, Ohio altogether. I moved to Philly, stayed there, and I ended up getting work with Jeff Towns, Jazzy Jeff. Did a
Mhm.
couple things with Will Jeff, which was really cool. And I toured with them as well. It was called the biggest rap tour ever in 1992. Never forget. Everybody was on that tour, man. Everybody. It was
Okay.
headlined by Public Enemy.
Oh
Um,
wow. Yeah.
yeah. So I did that tour with them, worked with them, did a lot of session work for Gamble and Huff. I literally they let me crash in their basement till I got on my feet in Mount Airy.
Mhm.
So then they helped me get settled in Center City. So I
Okay.
lived on 13th and Spruce, which is right the next corner from Gamble and Huff's place, which was Broad and Spruce. So I could
Okay.
just literally walk right down the street to work every week.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then I watched Mr. Gamble sign every single check every Saturday and paid us.
Mm.
But he was they were the coolest guys to work with, man, the coolest. Um, I remember touring with Jeff and Will during that time, and MC Light was on the tour, and she
Okay.
was real cool, man. She probably wouldn't
Yeah.
remember me to this day, but we rapped quite a bit, and she used to call me Tim, and I'm like, why you call me Tim? And my name was Frank. Why you call? You just look like a Tim. I was like, okay, Tim, it is. But
Did you have a temper or what? Temper
no,
Tim or what's the saying?
no, I think I was the jolliest dude. I was the biggest geek on the whole tour, man. Everybody else was all
Wow.
hip and cool, and I was just happy just to be on the tour wearing my Bill Cosby sweaters. And I was a geek,
Or
man.
your FUBU Bill Cosby sweaters.
Yeah, man, it wasn't even FUBU, it was Boo
Okay.
Boo.
Okay.
I don't even know who made the sweaters, but
Okay. I see
but
what you're saying.
and he was like, "Will you put that camera up?" But I tell you, I was Instagram before Instagram was Instagram.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got photos of that tour, man. Oh, man, there's so many of us. I got all to start throwing this stuff up as throwbacks. Like, it was Will and Jeff, Kid and Play, Naughty by Nature, Oak
Okay.
Town 357, Queen Latifah, MC Light, Public Enemy. Um, let's say Naughty by Nature. Oh, the Ghetto Boys.
Oh
It was
wow.
like it was like that. I mean, I'm telling you, it seemed like the concerts went all night every
Right.
night. So it was that
Right.
many acts, man. but it was a fun time. It was a really
Right.
fun time. But
So,
yeah, that's when I met Steve McKeever. I was working for Gamble and Huff, and I met a guy named Steve McKeever who had just started a label called Mojazz. Now everybody probably know him as the
mm,
guy that found Jill Scott for Hit Beach Records, but he found me years prior
okay.
and signed me to Mojazz Records. And November 9th, 1992 was the day I moved from Philadelphia to Los Angeles. Never looked back.
Ah, okay.
Now
There you go.
I visited, and I stayed at the Universal Sheraton when I
Right.
visited, and I
Right.
loved it because I loved the weather. I just thought it was just a big change, you know. But I mean, like I say, people ask me why do I still live here 32 years later, and I tell
Hmm.
them all the time I was born and raised in a place where the snow came to me and left when it felt like it. But now I live in a place where I can go to snow and leave when I feel like it.
Right.
Like
Right.
I can go up to the mountains and watch them boys ski, and then go to the beach and watch them surf in the same day.
Right.
That's why I
Yeah.
live here. And the industry ain't got nothing to do with the reason why I live here. I ain't think about the
Right.
industry. But
Right.
but yeah, that's when I moved. And the first celebrity I met, man, you never guess. You never
Actor.
guess.
You
Yeah,
met.
all right, I'll give you that. He was an actor. That's
Okay.
all the clue you get.
That's
Guess
all
who
I
it was?
get. It
That's
was.
all you get.
It was Eddie Murphy.
Nope. Okay, I'll give you another hint. We're gonna go back to the 70s. The 70s actor. He was the
Roger.
first celebrity I met.
Roger from What's Happening.
Nope, but I did meet him. No,
Okay.
but no,
Ernest
I met
Cunningham.
him probably like 5, 6 years ago. Yeah,
Because
real
he
cool
always
dude.
out. I used to see him all the time,
Oh,
especially.
really?
I used to see him all the time.
Yeah, I met him at a mutual friend's birthday party some years ago. He was really cool, man. Really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Who
you know,
was
but you know what I saw? The first thing I did was
it?
I did that, and he just fell out laughing, man. We were
Right.
cool from that
Yeah.
moment on. But yeah, no, it wasn't him. Two more guesses.
All right. Who else is out here? In the 90s.
Let's
It
see,
had to be.
from the 70s actor living. He's and oh, okay, I give you another hit. He was bald head and he passed on. He's dead.
Oh, man.
Man,
Louis Gossett Jr.
nope. One more.
Uh, the dude from
Okay,
Conan.
last one. He ain't black.
Oh shit. Oh, Kojak.
You know it.
You
That was
ran
the
into
first
Kojak.
celebrity I met, man. Kojak. Tell these
What?
fellas. I went down. I was staying at the Universal Sheridan when I
All right.
visited out here, right? And I
All right.
went down to the restaurant to have lunch, and because they told me anything I wanted, it's on us. I was like, okay, cool. So I tried to get everything I could get.
Right.
I tried to get the most expensive steak. I didn't care. But no, I went down there and lo and behold, Kojak was sitting by himself chilling. So you know I had to go over there and talk to him. I might have a
Right.
picture of that day, that meeting when I met him. I might have a picture on my Instagram. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see. I got my
Right.
Mojazz hat on. I'm all young and happy.
That's true,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Well,
man.
let's
Kojak.
talk about love stories, man. How did that come
Okay.
about?
Oh, well, Love Stories came about because Motown dropped the ball. So I ended up
Oh,
leaving Motown.
okay.
I left Motown, and I got a call from somebody at Motown saying that Branford Marcellus was looking for. Well, this all leads up to Love Stories. Branford
Okay.
Marcellus was looking for a male singer to head up his Buckshot LaFunk project. And I was like, Buckler, what? I didn't know what it was. But I was like, well, I ain't with Motown no more. I ain't got nothing else to do. Let's do it.
Right.
So uh, I go to this house. I think it was on Coldwater Canyon or something. This is when Branford he was musical director for the Tonight Show. So I go to this house on somewhere on Coldwater Canyon or something. It's an empty house with some recording equipment in the middle of the floor, just like that.
Mm.
So so his friend Tiana Gomez is recording my voice singing a demo of this song, Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters by Elton John.
Mm.
But the original arrangement sounded like an old country song. But what Branford did to it is just totally, totally opposite. So I had to make what Elton sang fit what Branford wrote, or
Oh,
arranged. So I get in there, I demo the song, and about 2 weeks later, I get another call saying, "Hey, Branford wants you to meet him at Sony Music Studios." I was like, "Oh, cool!" So I get to Sony Music Studios, and I nailed the song in 45 minutes. Like inside of 45 minutes, the song was done. And Branford says, "Man, the money I'm paying you, I plan to work your AWS all night." And I said, well, that's why you're paying me the money you're paying me, so you won't have to. You can get on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quick. And sure enough, that's when we became cool. So
Yeah.
the first Buckshot LaFunk record, the self-titled joint came out, but then we toured, and when we toured off that record, we started writing more stuff, and it led to Music Evolution, the second album. And that's when
Okay.
Buckshot was a band when we got on that tour. So that second album, I had contributed maybe 3 or 4 songs to it. I contributed my voice to it, and
Mm-hmm.
like 2 or 3 of those songs became hits. But a song called Another Day became the biggest hit, and it featured me
Okay.
on vocals. So that song led to my deal with Columbia Records, and
Mm-hmm.
I did a 2 hour showcase for Columbia's R&B department, only for them to say how much they love me and then passed on me.
Mm.
So Branford is like, I heard about that showcase. We're gonna stay on the road, and I'm gonna somehow get you signed to Columbia because you deserve a shot. And I was like,
Right.
thank you, appreciate it. Sure enough, I signed to Columbia Jazz, and after another day took off, once another day took off, that walked me right in.
Okay.
So, but then I recorded this great album called Love Stories for Columbia in 1998,
Mm-hmm.
and inside of 30 days, that album was finished. But it was
Mm.
in spurts. You know, we worked 3 days here, go back home because Branford was touring with his touring with a trio at the time, sax, bass, and drums.
Right.
So when he would take some time off, I would fly to New York, record with him for about 3, 4, 5 days, go back home. He'd go back on the road, do it again, meet in New York, record another 5, 6 days. And when we added up everything, tracking, mixing, mastering, vocals, everything, it turned out to be about, I think it was about 30 days, if that.
Wow.
Great album. Uh, I think the mix could have been better, but we were exploring. I'm on a jazz label, basically doing an old school R&B album, basically.
Right. Right.
You know, but we had to go with the mindset of jazz because it was a jazz label. But
Right.
anyway, we do this great record, sits on the shelf all of '99. We finished this record in '98, and by this time I got a wife and 2 young kids, and I got to feed them.
Right.
So Columbia's sitting on my album, so I decided to tour with Frankie Beverly. I got a call to go on the road with Frankie Beverly in April of
Wow.
'99, and
Wow.
while I was waiting on Shaka to get her tour ready. So once I got the word that Shaka Khan was ready to tour, it was perfect timing because Frankie's tour had just ended. And
Right.
I had toasted with Frankie. I told him, I said, well, Shaka's ready, man. I'm not going to be able to go on the next leg because I had already committed. And he told me, man, he said, man, I had to make the same type of decision
Mm.
years ago, man. Come on, get that red cup. So we got 2 red cups. He poured some Cavassier. We shot and then walked on the stage at Royal Albert Hall in London, England.
Man.
When I
That-
tell you that was a cool dude, that was a cool dude, man.
yeah. He
Real
seemed
cool. Oh, he was real cool. We had some of the coolest rehearsals, man. Oh
right.
man, some of the coolest, some of the most laid back rehearsals with Frankie Beverly.
Right.
So, but anyway, I get on the road with Shaka all of '99 from April, let me say from May, I'm sorry, till the end of '99, New Year's Eve. That was the
Mhm.
last gig I played with Shaka. And I said, I'm not going on the road with nobody no more. I got to get this record out. But I got a call from Ricky Minor who asked me to head up a band for a young lady named Anastasia. So
Mm.
I did the favor for Ricky. I mean, you can't really turn Ricky Minor now.
Right.
He
Right.
calls you, asks you a favor. You know he's going to take good care of you. So,
Right.
so paid me well to do the favor. Went on the road with Anastasia, and then I said, okay, now I'm definitely not going on the road with nobody no more. Got to
Right.
get
Right.
this record finished, right?
Right.
So I'll get the record out at least. So me and Branford and Shaka's sister Tammy, we went up against Columbia and asked them, hey, what's the deal with this record? Let's get this record out. And the label said we're going to put it out. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it just doesn't, because we're not planning to support it.
Wow.
Yeah. So now we're talking about the politics at Motown, who was bought out by Polygram for millions of dollars. So the little guys like me were overlooked.
Right.
That's why I ended up leaving Motown because they never put a record out on me, never got me exposure with radio, TV, nothing. So only to go to a major white label, from a black label to a white label, for them to say we're not going to put your record out.
Right.
And I'm like, what did I do for you not to put the record out? If you guys have an issue within the label, that's not my fault. Put this
Right.
record out and give me my shot. Well, they put the record out and didn't give me the shot. They just put it out. Never service anything, any music to radio, no videos, no nothing.
Right.
So only thing they did was they took the song "Gotta Find a Way" and put it on a compilation CD with Kobe and Shaq and some other people, but they never pushed it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a great record, and it was just pretty much thrown out. And like I said in all the interviews, how do you give birth to a child and tell it to raise itself? It's
Man,
impossible. It's gonna
man.
die. So that's basically what they did. He gave birth to the record and told it to raise itself. It's impossible. So um, I had been personally calling the president of Columbia Jazz. I won't say names because I don't believe in exploiting people. I believe in telling my testimony and leaving it at
Right.
that.
Right.
So I'm calling the president and I'm like, why won't you put my record out? Well, I'm getting his secretary and she won't put me through. So I'm
Right.
like, why won't he put my record out? What did I do? I want to push my record. Then finally she said that he said he doesn't know who you are. Well, that was grounds for walking. I'm like, okay, he just gave me my opportunity to leave.
Right.
So how do you have artists that you don't even know on your label?
You know they got a long
So
ass list. That's crazy.
yeah, that's when I asked to leave. And when I left, I ended up connecting with an indie label that didn't know what they were doing. And they put out an album called The Truth, Volume One. It wasn't supposed to be a Volume Two.
Right.
And so, but yeah, but the producer of the record that I did for Motown that was never released was one of the guys that approached me about putting out this new record, The Truth.
Okay.
So, but he was in bed with another partner of his, and they got in bed with my then manager, and I was like, now as a team within a team, I just cannot win for losing.
Man.
The
Man.
havoc at Motown, the havoc at Columbia, now an indie label where I'm the only one on the roster, and I got to deal with this. And I kind of outsmarted them. They didn't want me to do anything outside of just working with them. In fact, they wanted me to pretend love stories didn't exist. And I'm like, I know you lying. Because
Right.
by this time, the fans had caught on to love stories,
Yeah.
even with
Yeah. I
Columbia not
heard it. I
pushing
heard it before I met you.
it. Yeah, love
Yeah.
stories caught on, man. So if it was properly pushed, it would have gone platinum easy. But
Yeah.
um, but I put out the album The Truth as a sophomore record, and um, it was really a one album deal. But what they did was they played games with my paperwork, with everybody being in different states. Like my management was in Chicago, I'm in LA, and the label, so to speak, the guy that produced the record was half of the label. He lived in Malibu, and the other half of the label lived in New York, his partner.
Wow.
So we signed an agreement and well, this was a contract, not an agreement. Now, me and Prince were cool. He
Yeah.
told me never call it a contract. And he even went public saying that it's an
Yeah.
agreement. Know what you're signing. Well, I
Right.
knew what I was signing, and I had a sweet deal. Now, my attorneys, not my attorneys, my management was supposed to get the same agreement signed by everybody,
Right.
in counterparts. And he was stalling on getting me the paperwork.
Mm.
And finally, I slammed him, man. I pretty much cornered him and put him against the wall. And was like, you better give me that paperwork. Got me the paperwork, and everything was changed. Everything was different.
Man.
Everything was different. But see, what they didn't realize is they didn't think that I would read through that. And that's what a lot of artists fail to do. They don't like to read. I'm one of them.
Right.
I hate to read too, but I hate being caught up in some shit I can't get out of. I'll tell you
Right. Right.
that.
Right.
So I read through that agreement with a fine tooth comb and I found something. And then I ended up getting an attorney and I had him run through it with me and he told me I was correct.
Mm.
Well, what happened was they were supposed to get worldwide distribution with that out. They settled for a licensing deal. And the examples
Mm.
given were mainstream companies.
Right.
And this company that they did the business with was a licensing company, a small record company in the UK. And I was able to get out of that deal based
Okay.
on that, on the
Wow.
distribution. Yeah. So that's how I got out of that deal with those fools. Um, it was then, well, no, then one of the guys, the producer, the half of this label, the
Okay.
producer, he actually produced the album I did for Motown back in '95. And um, when I was pushing The Truth, he was pushing the Motown record behind my back. It
Right.
wasn't Obviously it wasn't released, it wasn't mixed, wasn't mastered, and had no artwork. But it was some great musicians on it. Harvey Mason, Branford Marcellus, Tony Maiden from Rufus, Bobby Watson from Rufus, Doc
Mm.
Powell. Oh, there was some cats on this record, man. Billy Preston played on it. So there's a lot
Wow.
of guys, man. A lot of greats on this record. So he
Yeah.
was selling this record in the UK, which is where he's originally from. for
Okay.
25 pounds. And at the time, that was 50 US dollars, and I
Yeah, I
wasn't
remember
spending
you
any of
telling
that
me that.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with this record being pushed like that, I figured, well, if he can steal from me, I can steal from myself. So I had been recording music in my little space at home, and I
Right.
called it my vault. I would just record the stuff and sit it to the side. In fact, that's how Love Stories was born. All of the
Okay.
stuff that's on Love Stories was recorded before Love Stories was ever even called Love Stories. Before I even had to deal with Motown, with Columbia. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Before I had to deal with Columbia, I had all of the songs for Love Stories already written. We just recut it. But if you check my Bandcamp, go to frankmccomb.bandcamp.com, get all my music there. But look for Love Stories, the 1996-97 demos. It's
Wow.
out there. Yeah, I put the demos out. I
Yeah.
sure did.
All right.
So,
Well, hold on. I don't want to cut you off, but I
mhm,
know we don't have a lot of time.
it's
And
cool.
okay, I
No,
got
it's
two.
cool.
Okay,
It's
I got
cool. I'll give you some
okay,
more time. Come on, let's do it.
okay. I got
You'll be all
two
right.
striking questions for you.
Yeah.
When did you know? When did you know that you could sing like you sing? Like when did you know?
I can't put an age to singing. That's all I ever knew. I will say at the age of 3, I knew what I wanted to do at the age of
Oh,
3. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. I didn't know what it was called, but I knew I wanted to do it. I wanted to be a recording artist. I've always wanted to be, and I never wanted to be in a group though. I never want to be in a band. I don't want to be responsible for people, and I don't want to
right,
lose out on people that ain't got their stuff together.
right.
To this
Yeah,
day, I don't want to be in a band. The only band I can say I was ever in was Buckshot LaFunk, and I knew it was the a man that was from the first family of jazz that knew what he was doing on
mhm,
how to keep a band together. That's the only reason. I'm not trying to be in
yeah.
nobody's band.
Well, I think if when you look at Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder, George Benson, you kind of have some of all of them wrapped into you versus your own stuff, your own Frank McComb stuff. They're all solo artists.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that was born into you to be in a solo artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as George, Stevie, Donnie, they were just 3 of many that I listened to. I listened to
Yeah.
so many guys like Billy Joel, Elton John, Natalie Cole, Oscar Peterson, Herbie Hancock, Ramsey Lewis. I listened to a
Yeah.
lot of music, man. It's
Yeah.
just that there is no man in my family to reference me to because it's all female singers. I'm the only
Wow.
man and the only one in my generation doing it. In fact, there's nobody else in my family after me doing it. So,
Wow.
but there's no man to reference me to. Everybody say Donnie, Stevie, and I greatly appreciate that. But if you heard my mother in her youth, my grandmother
Hmm.
in her youth,
Hmm.
you'll hear where I get it from. Check out
Hmm.
Liz. Excuse me. Check out my aunt Liz McComb. Liz McComb. Look her up. You'll see where I get
Okay.
it from.
And I have to
Yeah.
say this: my mom's name is Eunice, so salute to Eunice. That was awesome, man.
Right on. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So yeah, man, I
Yeah.
met you. I met you at the Temple Bar, bro. I was blown away. That was the Kim Hill. You were playing with Kim Hill that night, and I
Yeah,
approached,
we would co that room all the time, man.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was glad to
Oh,
be there
Kim.
because like to hear you live. Well, I mean, you're a musical genius, a musical beast.
Thank you, man.
You're one
Thank
of one in many regards, man. So when you
you.
told me
Thank
you had CDs for sale, I'm like, give me all of them. You know what I'm saying?
you. Wow, thank you, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. So let's talk about that Prince night, man.
Man, that was fun.
What?
What was that? Level 1, wasn't it?
Yep, level one
Yeah,
on
level
Wilshire.
1.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
so
man.
basically,
Ugh.
I just wanted to this caveat. So after I made the flyers, do you remember when I told you I met Brian McKnight and I gave him a flyer? And you
No.
yeah, and then you said you ran into him and he was like, "Oh, you got
Yeah.
a show." And then you came back and was like, "Oh, I just wanted to see if you was lying."
I did. Dang, I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm trying to
Yeah, so
remember that. I did. Wow, I probably did.
you did, bro. But yeah,
Oh man.
I was promoting that show heavy, man. A lot of people knew who you were. Like that was
Yeah, it was a
the
pretty
good
full
part.
room that night. It was a pretty
Yeah,
full room. I remember it was just a trio. It was Raymond McKinley who worked with Prince and Sheila E. and Rochelle Farrell and Cora Coleman on drums. And Raymond came to me during sound check and said, "Hey man, little purple guy might come through. He was looking for something to get into tonight." And I said, "Little and purple in the same sentence. That's got to be Prince."
right.
He said, "Yeah, precisely." I was like, "Oh really? Oh okay, all right." And then I walked up like, "Yeah, right." But then when Raymond says something, it's usually gonna happen.
Okay.
Raymond McKinley is the one that got me plugged in Japan years ago. So yeah, so that's when I came to you and said, "Hey man, principals come through. You see that little dark room over there? Keep that room dark and put him over there just in case he comes." And sure enough, he showed up, and he came with Rochelle Farrell. They were hanging that night, and so I met the two of them at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
other story is that the driver came earlier and said Prince is coming. He may come, but he needs to sit by himself.
Hmm. He
So
was in that dark room.
right. So the house manager was trying to book tables over there, and I told him Prince is gonna sit there, and he was like, "Well, we'll see if he come. He probably not coming to your night." He didn't know he didn't know the dynamics of who I was working with. So then when Prince showed up, they had to move the
That's
people
funny.
from the little room.
Hard head. Are you serious?
Yeah,
See,
they
I
tried
didn't
to
even
blame it
know.
on me.
I didn't even know that. I did
Yeah,
not even know that.
yeah,
Wow, that's what he get for not believing. Well,
right,
that's what I get. That's what I get too. 'Cause I was like, but I did say prepare just in case, because you never
right.
know. I did say prepare. So
Yeah,
I said, hey, in case he show up, put him in
yeah,
that dark room right here, leave lights out, don't let nobody in there. And that dude didn't believe it. Huh? That's what he get.
yeah,
That's what he gets.
yeah. That was a
Yeah,
great
man,
show, man. And so after the
man.
after the Prince, after the Prince show that we did, what else happened?
Well, we ended up working together, and I had just left dealing with that independent label, and that's when I put the album Straight from the Vault together.
And
Because
that's
when
on
he went, say what?
that's on Booby Scoop, right? Because you
Yeah,
carry your own
that's
yeah,
when I started Booby Scoop Music. Yeah.
yeah,
So I after watching this guy sell my record, I decided I'm gonna put 12 songs on a CDR for myself. And if he can steal for me, I can steal for me. And
yeah,
that's when I put the word out that I was selling my own music, pushing my own music. And what's crazy, and I'm gonna come back to Prince for a reason. What's crazy is you remember the mini disc recorders?
yeah.
I put Straight from the Vault on a mini disc recorder, had shows in London, stopped by the label that actually released The Truth. And I let the head of that label, that little indie label, listen to Straight from the Vault. He loved it, top to bottom, and said, "Man, this is great. This is great. When do I get to put it out?" I said, "You don't." What do you mean? I said, "No, you don't." He said, "What are you going to do with it?" I said, "I'm going to release it on my own." He
Mm-hmm.
said, "Nah, no artist can never sell his own music. You'll be back." I said, "Thanks a lot." He said, "Why?" I said, "For telling me I'm going to make it. I recognize that language."
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So I had just got artwork done for that record. And I mean, I was literally burning that CD one at a time. Me, my wife, and my little kids. I had them working too.
Yeah,
And we
that's
were
right.
we were hand packaging straight from the vault and selling it through the mail.
Mm,
And I'm telling people, you know what? Order it through my PayPal, put your address in there. I'll write all the stuff down. I'll drop it in the mail to you.
mm-hmm.
And that's how I started my independent little thing, Booby Scoop Music. And I'm working with Prince at this time now.
Okay, I
And
remember.
I had just was crazy. We're talking, well, the record came out in '04. We're talking 2005 now. And I ended up going back getting the record that he bootlegged of mine. I bootlegged it for myself. Went back and I made my own copy. I ordered a copy from him
Mm-hmm.
anonymously and made that my master. And I started burning it. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in center staging in Burbank rehearsing. And my wife and I took the tower because we making the CDs by hand. Took the tower, the printer, the paper, everything, and set up shop in Prince's office at Center Staging because we had one of the big rooms and it had the office in the room,
Right.
right? So we set everything up. I didn't care. I set everything up in his office. And Nisa is in there putting stuff together, right? And I'm in there rehearsing with Prince in the room. So every
Right.
time we take a break, I leave and go, leave the big room and I go in there and I start helping Nisa. Okay, break time over. All right, Nisa, I'll be back. I go back. I'm in there
Mm-hmm.
playing with Prince.
Yeah.
Break time, I go back in there, help Nisa with the CDs. So Prince comes in there and he says, "What are you guys doing?" As loud as he spoke. "What are you guys doing?"
Right.
I said, I'm pushing the family business, man. I got to make these records. I'm trying to get like you, you
Right.
know. And he looks and he sees me hand packaging these CDs in his office with no permission. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I know he just gonna tell me to shut this down. He looked it straight from the vault and was like, this is clever, bank vault piano, okay. And then he picks up the 1995 bootleg is what I called it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I bootleg what they bootlegged to mine, I took it back. It's my music, damn it. So
Mm-hmm.
he looks at the cover and he said, what does this mean? It was a white piece of paper with a skinny leg inside of a construction boot.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the construction boot represents the fact that the man is working hard, but the skinny leg represents the fact that he's not eating from his work.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost his mind. Lost his mind. He said, continue, continue, go, continue. He said, bring these to the house because we had a party that night. Bring these to
Right,
the house. I'm going to play these in the house. And sure enough, man, he played it throughout the house and the whole nine. And next thing I knew, I was getting interviews, and I know it's from him
man.
because he was the giver. He didn't brag about what he did when it came down to giving, like genuinely giving.
Right,
He didn't talk. He didn't talk.
but
And
man,
I,
you
I I know I was one of those guys he gave to at that time. He just never said nothing.
yeah. It seemed
Yep.
like you've been on the road ever since the Image Awards. Like I can't even keep up with you.
Man, I was on the road before the Image Awards. I've been humping since I was 17, playing with my trio back in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I never sit still long. COVID was the only thing that shut me down for a minute because it shut down
yeah,
the rest of the world too. But
yeah,
man, I stay busy. If I don't stay busy, I don't eat. And if I don't eat, that's a problem.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like having a little tummy.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want it touching my back. No, no. And I went independent the way I did because I got tired of my stomach touching my back at the hands of somebody else not doing right by me.
Right.
People not taking care of business. So when they say independent, I'm literally independent. When people say they're independent, it's most likely a genre for them.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
a genre. I literally do everything. I record it, I mix it, I engineer it, I edit it, I do the master it. I literally do everything myself and make the cover art. So I don't have too much time to even sleep. My wife has to make me sleep.
Man.
Seriously. I'm more disciplined when I'm home, I have to say, because she makes me stay on the clock so I don't burn out, and she helps me to get strong again so I can get back on that road and do what God put me on this earth to do. You
Right.
know, um, I get out there, I book my own shows still. I literally do it all. And a
Man.
lot of people, I know they find it hard to believe, but literally I do everything. I mean, I got to go comp vocals when I'm finished with you because I'm working with a Kazakh artist right now. She's in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and she's
Yeah.
a big star over there. And my actual quartet is based in Amsterdam. My actual band is actually based in Amsterdam. She
Okay.
brought us all over to celebrate her birthday. So we performed one night for her birthday, and then the following night was a full concert with my quartet. And then they left, but I stayed because I had recorded 3 songs. My son and I did one tune together, 2 songs I did on my own, and I took the tracks over there, and I had to record her vocals. So I'm literally finishing her project right now. So
She plays
no,
the
she's
saxophone.
vocalist. She's
Oh, vocals.
vocalist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
vocalist. So my son and I are comping vocals and getting the project done because and I gotta we're so close to being finished, but I gotta get it done because now it's these young gentlemen called the Moore Twins, and I'm about to do a song for them. And
Okay.
yeah, they're out of the South somewhere. Gifted kids, man. So I'm gonna do a track with them.
Man.
And then there's Najee. He's gonna kill me because we're supposed to be doing living in the bottle together. We ain't got around to it yet because I'm the one busy. So
Man. Salute to
but I'm gonna
Najee.
make that happen because that's my dude. I play on a lot of his
Yeah.
stuff. He play on a lot of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Najee a good guy.
Well,
Najee's a real
man,
good guy.
Frank, I'm not gonna hold you, man, because I know you're
Go on, give
busy.
me give me another question. I got a little time. Come on, give me another question.
Okay, so what advice would you give to young musicians, especially as an independent mastermind?
Young musicians, stop
Yeah.
overplaying. Stop overplaying. Stop overplaying and stop taking on too many gigs you can't handle, man. You don't have no time to learn the music if you're trying to play 5 gigs a day. I
Hmm.
get so tired of that. And I have a lot of love and respect for musicians because I was once one. But what we did where I'm from is we learned the music. We took the
Hmm.
time to learn the music. We had discipline in our gigging because if you take on 5, 6 gigs chasing the money, you'll never have the time to learn the music properly and play it with integrity. Don't
Right.
skate through people's music, man, because you come across a guy like me and I can tell you ain't playing it right because I wrote
Mhm.
everything. You know, I wrote everything. I have a whole catalog. Wrote
Mm-hmm.
everything, and I could tell when you're not playing it right. I could tell when you're skating through it, and it's not fun. Especially if I
Yeah.
send you the music 2 months in advance or a month in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah.
But you know, and I understand the hustle. I understand the struggle. I was once that guy. So imagine what I'm going through as a recording artist, booking my own stuff. So don't think I don't understand you. But
Right.
don't take on so much work at one time, thinking that you'll never get to eat or never get called again, and not have the time to learn the music. If listen, if the gig is for you, it'll be there.
Mm.
If it's not, you'll get another one. But keep the integrity so you can keep getting the calls, man. You know,
Yeah.
um, as far as artists, learn everything that there is to possibly know. You know, every job there is to do for a recording artist to have a career, learn those jobs. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not good at it, find somebody that can help you with it. You know, that part's not always easy, but I won't say fake it till you make it. I'll say do the best you can until you can find that person. Because
Mm-hmm.
faking it, there's a difference between the weed and the tear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that faking it thing ain't gonna get
You'll
you.
be
Trust
found
me,
out.
but
Yeah.
it ain't gonna last you but for so long,
Right.
and count your own money. Don't depend on
Right.
everybody else to count it for you. And if you got somebody counting, count it after them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
What
don't
what's
let
your
no don't
what's
let
your
nobody,
favorite
huh?
what's your favorite song to perform?
I don't have one.
Mm.
I don't have one. I just love to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
A good question, but I don't have one. I don't
Yeah.
have one. I love to play. You know, the favorite song. Okay, if I have to give you an answer, is the one that they cheer for the most. How about that?
Mm, yeah. 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 Yeah.
The one they cheer for the most is my favorite song. The
Right.
one they buy the most is my favorite song. And speaking of buying, I need you guys out there to buy the music from the artist. Streaming is cool. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong. Streaming is cool, but buy the album. Buy the album. Support that
Yeah.
artist. Streaming is cool, but buy the album and then stream all you want to. At least we can say that you supported the artist because this is how we eat. Streaming, they're only paying us less than a penny. You're paying 15.99 or whatever it is for that streaming service every month,
Yeah.
or all the streaming services per streaming
Yeah.
service every
All
month.
music.
Well,
Yeah.
that's our record sale. That's our
Yeah.
record sale because what you're doing is you're paying $16 a month to be able to hear any music you want unlimited. But guess what?
Mhm.
They're paying us less than a penny, less than a
Yeah.
cent every time you stream a song.
Yeah.
So you paying them what our CD cost is. You're paying to that streaming service who's
Hmm.
enabling you to hear all our music for free.
Hmm.
That's free as far as we're concerned
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
not getting paid. So
Yeah.
you can stream all you want, but at least buy the product from the artist. Then you can
Yeah.
stream all you want. Yeah.
Cool. So let's close it out. Where can the fans find you on social media and websites?
I have a one-stop shop called Frank McComb Music. FrankMccomb. FrankMcCombMusic.com. There you will find my social media, all of my social media, and my Bandcamp where you can get my CDs, frankmccomb.bandcamp.com. Everything is there. Go to frankmccomb.bandcamp.com and buy my music there. You can even stream it a few times there, but buy my music there and then go wherever you want to stream. My radio show, Frank McComb's Living Room, where it's all things Frank McComb, exclusively for Jazz Beats Radio. That's every Saturday and Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where I'm playing all of my own music for a whole hour straight. Anything I've produced on other people, um, my own stuff, unreleased live music, all kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's exclusively Frank McComb. And I have a Patreon. I need you guys to support my Patreon. $20 a month gets you exclusive backstage access to my career. I'm literally making my own videos and I'm uploading them only to Patreon. These specific videos are exclusively for my monthly patrons, $20 a month. And then you won't find them on YouTube. You won't find them on any place, any other platform.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you won't find them on any other platform.
Man.
And I will say this, during COVID, I was going live, doing my live online performances, right? I
Mm.
saved every last one of them. So if you were following me during that time and you want to see those old clips, you can find those now on Apple Music, Deezer, and whatever all of the other video streaming platforms are. I actually saved all of my Facebook Lives or all of my online performances,
Nice.
and I own them. So now they're uploaded, or a lot of those clips are uploaded now where you can actually stream those performances. So get on out there and support Frank McComb, and they're in the system.
Yeah, and I'll put all of those in the information on the YouTube channel too
Okay,
for
cool.
this video. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. So
Appreciate it,
Frank,
man.
yeah, for sure, man. And I just want you to know I appreciate you, man, and thank you for working with me.
Of
Uh,
course, man. Of
and
course.
we probably have to do something soon. As soon as I figure it out, we'll probably do something again.
Let's make it happen. And you know what? I want to say thank you to you for calling me that night because you could have called anybody.
Yeah,
And it was that night, your gig in that room where I connected with Prince. It's not like it happened anyplace else. It was
right.
there. So thanks for
Right.
calling me, bro.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we did each other a justice on that one, bro.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's history. It's history in my book, bro. I run into
Yeah.
people and they're
Same
like,
here.
man, right? They be like, I was there, and I don't remember some of the people that was there.
But they remember you.
Right, right.
But you know, in this
Birthday.
game, but you know, in this game, that is so it's so true that in this game that it's not who you know, but it's who knows you.
Yeah,
You know? Oh
yeah,
yeah. That's probably even more important.
yeah,
Who knows you? Yeah,
yeah.
for real. Yes,
All right,
sir.
Frank. Well, you have a good holiday, man, and thank you for everything. And we'll be in touch.
All good, bro. Happy holidays.
Happy
Be
holiday.
cool.
Later, man.